guys? It's Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Got a smash hit from Godsmack. First Godsmack lesson. I don't know why I've not done a lesson from them. It's amazing I can do this for 15 years and then still people will bring it to my attention. Hey, that's why you've never done a song about this. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I have not done a song about Godsmack, but all right, so this gets fixed today. We're gonna learn how to do I Stand Alone. So this was a pretty easy one to play. We got a really cool opening riff and that I use throughout the song and stuff. So there's some cool stuff to check out here. We're gonna do the whole thing. Before I do though, please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, all that good stuff. That really helps YouTube hopefully one day start pushing these videos again, because they haven't for a while. So if you want this guitar tutorial business to continue on YouTube for me or any other guitar YouTuber, you might want to share their videos or just watch the damn things. That helps probably more than anything else. Now, if you truly want to support what I do here on YouTube, and also keep me alive, there's a link in the description to my Guitar Academy. It's the only way I make a living, and that link will give you 40% off of my annual subscription rate. So you get full access to all my courses, personalized support from me. You get access to live streams that I do every weekend with just Academy members. It's a great community. Got a lot of courses there for every level of player, no matter what style you like. So please check it out, and it really helps support what I do here on YouTube. All right. Let's jump into the song. So first things first, we are in drop C, so that might be a bummer for some people, but hopefully you have a guitar that you can put into that tuning. This is my drop tuning guitar, so anything that's beneath standard and not a humbuckers on this guy. So anyway, so I have this in drop C. Now, what is drop C? So that's basically drop C is the whole guitar. If you had a standard tune guitar, you tune the whole thing down a whole step first. So that makes it D standard. And then, additionally, you take the low E string, at that point it'd be a D though, and tune it down to a C, another whole step. So it's kind of like drop D tuning, but everything's a whole step lower in pitch. What are those strings? I'm gonna have this in the description, but the strings names will be the low C. The A string is gonna be tuned down to a G. The D string is tuned down to a C. G string tuned down to an F. B string tuned down to an A. And the high E string tuned down to a D. So we get this low C. So the E string tuned all the way down a major third to a C. All right, so now we can rock out. So we have this main riff that just happens on I'm gonna call everything that's a standard tuning. So if I say low E string, I know it's a C, but I don't do that. I'm gonna name everything as if it's a standard tune guitar. All right, so we're gonna start with doing this main riff 8 times. So it looks like this. All right, so what is going on there? You can do this all with downstrokes. It's kind of how he's doing it. It's how he's kind of getting those notes to pop out like that. It's gonna make it sound better if you do it all downstrokes. So there's no muting going on here. So we're gonna hit the low E string 3 times. And then you're gonna grab the 19th fret there, way up there on you'll see him actually, he just brings his thumb around because it's such a stretch. Depending on your guitar, if you've got a really nice cutaway, you can get there without doing that. But so I can keep my thumb in a normal position. But anyway, it's way up here on the low E string. So we have this 1, 2, 3. And then you can hit that 19th fret twice. Now, one little inflection that you want to kind of do is at the very end, there's he almost slightly bends the note when he's leaving his way. So you kind of it gives it that kind of like a little bit more angst, I think. It's not, you kind of want to slightly pull it down a little bit. So we have this first one. And then we have 2 hits. And then you're going to play the 20th fret twice. So this. So it's a different rhythm. It's like da da da, da da. So it's kind of like a delayed hit there. and then it's the 20th fret twice, and then 2 more hits, but kind of more direct instead of there's no pause. It's not like it goes. So kind of picks it straight through, and that's just the open E again twice, and then twice on the 20. So kind of pick those straight through. So we have this so far. And that's the riff, and you just got to repeat that 8 times. All right, so you notice there at the end, I kind of, the 8th time, I didn't really kind of finish the riff. I just, because it slides down. So that last little group, you just kind of avoid it and you just kind of slide down. And then we get to the verse. So the thing about this song is the first verse is different than the second verse. And the first chorus is, each 3 choruses are all different as well. So they're kind of based around the same riffs, but there's slight variations. So now this first verse looks like this. All right, so we're gonna start here with this, it's the bottom 3 strings. So you kind of hit just the bottom 3 strings, let them ring, kind of hit them a couple times. And then you're gonna mute the strings and do a couple of down up kind of muted hits in between. So it's like, so you do that a couple times. And then we have up here at the 6th fret, you're gonna play it 4 times here. So it's this, you're barring across. Since we're in a drop tuning, you just use 1 finger to create a power chord. That's across the low D, E, the D, E, and the low E string. Let's try this. All right, and then we get back into that rhythm. And now this time we have a different ending to it. So we still did this. We still did that twice, but instead of doing this, we do this. So what that is now the power chord there across the 5th fret of those bottom 3 strings. Slide down to 2, and then hit it 2 more times. So we have this so far. The first for the verse, we have this. So you kind of start it over again, but it kind of has this little chug thing that happens in the middle of it when you go through it the next time around. That chug happens in a different place in the 2nd verse. So we have this right here just. So basically, basically 1 time through the riff is after you get through that. So this is 1 time through the verse. All right, so that's 1 time through the verse. So then when you start to just repeat the exact same thing, instead of doing this at the end of the 2nd time playing the riff, you do that little. Now this is at the 5th fret. It's really hard. It's heavily muted, but if you really listen close, he's up here at the 5th fret. Up here at the 5th fret, just so that 5th fret power chord, you really heavily palm mute. Kind of make it sound really basic. Kind of 4 muted hits. 3 muted hits. That's 3, Carl, not 4. So it's this. We had this so far. And then you just play the riff like we did the first time. So then it kind of started like a fourth time through, but it stopped in the middle of it. So we started like we're gonna play the riff a fourth time. You do that 4 hits there on that 6th fret power chord there, and then hit it again. And just hold it. And then we get to chorus number 1. Chorus number 1 is that main riff that we did at the beginning of the song played 4 times. All right, so now we've already covered that. So that's the most simplified version of the chorus. So when you get to chorus 2, they're going to start adding things to that. All right, so verse 2 now, this goes right to first. Remember, that kind of the 4th time playing through that chorus, that main riff in the chorus, you're going to kind of cut the end off and just slide down. Then we get to verse 2. Let me play verse 2 for you. It's kind of a more, it plays the verse riff. It has that little chug in it again, but it's at a different fret. But it also plays the riff 4 full times. And then it has a little extension, a little ending, leading us into chorus number 2. So anyway, verse 2 looks like this. All right, and then it goes into the main riff again from there. All right, so it's the same verse. Now we did it before. I'm sorry. And when we get to the chugs, the second time playing through the riff in that verse, instead of doing it here at the 5th fret, you do it at the 3rd fret here. So they just kind of mix it up a little bit. And then they do the full verse riff again 2 more times. So altogether, that sounds like this so far. So now we do this little extension where we go up to the, play this 5th fret power chord just across the bottom 3 strings a couple times. And kind of pick across the string if you want. And then we do this. So then he starts adding the 9th to this chord. This is the only time you're going to hear this. Now when you see him play live, you're going to hear him add that note a lot in the chorus and stuff like that, but stuff like that. I kind of only hear it once. Obviously, you're going to hear it in the bridge down here, but up on this chord, or never does it here, but in the live, you'll see him add that note to some of the power chords, but it's not on the original recording, so we're going to stick with the original recording. So it only happens here at the end of verse 2 here, we have this. So that up here is, so I'm barring across the 8th fret, the bottom 3 strings, and I'm going to add the 10th fret on the D string. So we basically just going to pick across with a low E, E, A, D. And then you're going to jump down real quick. Heavily palm muted, you can hit the 4 hits on that 1st fret power chord across the bottom 3 strings. So we have this for the ending. And then it gets to the chorus number 2. Now, chorus number 2, is longer, more extended in chorus number 1. It's kind of based around that main riff, but then they go back into some of the chords like we just led into. So let me show you what this looks like here. So chorus number 2. All right, so that's that main riff played twice. Slide down at the end of the second time of playing that riff, and you can just do the power chord here at the 5th fret across the bottom 3 strings, and then up to 8, and then back into the main riff 2 more times. Back into the 5/8, and this time, second time playing the 5 to 8 in the chorus, he's gonna jump down and add the 1st fret here, power chord of those. So just like we did at the end of verse 2. This 1st fret power chord there, and then you should go back into the main riff 4 more times to close out the chorus. So after that second chorus, that kind of slides down the last time playing that riff, and we get to the bridge section. All right, so let me play through this bridge section for you real quick, then I'll show you how to play it. So it looks like this. So that's pretty simple there. He's gonna kind of slide down to this, it's like a D sus2 chord. So all you're holding there, you're hitting the bottom 3 strings open, and you'll play the 2nd fret there on the G, and the 3rd fret there on the B. And you're gonna have the high E string open. You're not always hearing that note in every single time he plays it. So sometimes he adds it, sometimes he doesn't. It sounds good when he does. It's a D sus2 because this is a 2nd, so a high E in there. So the only note you're holding, you're hitting all 6 strings, you only hold the 2nd fret on the G, 3rd fret on the B. And then you can kind of pick doing it again if you just like them. If you want to kind of continue, it's just a low D or the low E string, and then 2nd fret there on the G, and 3rd fret there on the B. And then we go to the next chord. So that's playing the 3rd fret on the low E, A, and then the 5th fret there on the D. So you pick across those twice. Just let them ring. And then, to kind of start the riff over, you kind of slide into the power chord to the 3rd fret, then go down to 2, 1, and then we're back to this D sus2. So we have this so far. Now, when he plays that 2nd time, when he starts it over the 2nd, you basically play what I just did 4 times. The 2nd time, though, when you're letting the D ring, you hear this pick scrape. nice looking pick straight. But I use too thick a picks. So. Now, the little tip you can do here is, it's easier to get it going on the bottom string there, but you don't want to lose that, especially if you just got one guitarist in your band. You don't want to lose that low string ring. So try to do the pick scrape across the D and A string. Kind of pick it and keep that low string ringing. Kind of makes it sound a little better. Everything else is the same. And then the other next two times, kind of like the first time we played it, no pick straight. Now from here, coming out of the bridge, we get to the guitar solo. So I'm not gonna cover, the guitar solo is based, it's not a lot, it's based around like a talk box, I believe. And you can hear him doing that. He's just kind of going off and it gets kind of indecipherable. And when I saw him play live, he did something completely different. So you can do those if you want to sound something there in that solo. You can just an octave here at the 5th fret on the A, 7th fret on the G string, and slide it down to 3 and repeat that. And you might be able to fake it just by doing it like with a wah pedal, a really heavy wah setting. But I'm not gonna really cover that. There's kind of a lot of it's kind of indecipherable because of the talk box effect, and I don't have a talk box. I did buy one in the 90s, and I never took it out of the box. I do that with a lot of things. Anyway, underneath that is the verse, riff played once, and then that same kind of the same ending we did in the first verse. So it looks like this. This is what's going on underneath the solo. So it's just that same ending we did before in the first verse, but before that, instead of playing the riff 3 times, it's just played once. All right, and then we get to the final chorus. So chorus number 3 is the most involved of all. And then it goes into this kind of variation of it at the very end of the song too, where he instead of doing single notes, he does power chords way up here. So I'm gonna play this whole ending section. So starting from that last chorus all the way to the end of the track. So it looks like this. So that's gonna start with the main riff played just with single notes 4 times. We've covered that plenty this lesson, so just play that riff 4 times. Then we go to those 5 and 8 power chords off the low E, the bottom 3 strings is 5. So we saw that in chorus number 2, and then back to the main riff twice. And then, like we did in the second chorus, when you go to play the 5/8 chords the second time, you're gonna add that first fret at the very end. So like this. And And then we just have the main riff that's going to continue for the rest of the song. We're going to play it as a single note version 4 times, and then we're going to play it as power chords the last 4 times. So it's going to be 8 times total. So 4 times like this. And then you're going to do the same riff basically, except instead of just holding 1 string, you're going to hold, I'll do it with my ring finger. You can do it with the same finger, whatever finger you were playing, this doesn't matter. But you're now, instead of just playing the 19th fret on the low E string, you're also across the A whenever you play the chorus. So it still has an open string that starts. So it's the same riff, just hit 2 strings across that fret instead of just 1. So without it 4 times at the very end, without it 4 times, and then with it 4 times. And on that very last 4th time of playing it, when you're playing it with the power chords, it's gonna go down to the D chord that we played earlier. That's a lot quieter. It's kind of it goes down into like a quieter setting with a talk box again that's being played like this. But you can just, probably live, you just like that right now, I would assume. So anyway, that is it for I Stand Alone. It's got some kind of a little bit of an odd rhythm on that thing, but other than that, it's pretty simple. Got some simple chords, and you just got to memorize the layout of all the little variations, and you pretty much got it. And if you know the song, which most people do, it's it's been all over the radio for like well over 2 decades. You should be able to have no problem kind of following along. All right, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for recognizable365.com.